Hello everyone, Ranjitha here. Welcome back to my channel. Today I am here with another video in the series of DIY craft supply videos that I have been making. Today I am here to show you how to make your own stamp cleaner and stamp scrubber with absolutely minimal supplies. For this I am taking an old compass box. You can take any pencil box or watercolor container or any box which has two deep sides. I am also taking this sponge cleaning pad. It has a fine texture to it on either side, so I thought it will help me in cleaning my stamps, and also since it is spongy it will not damage my stamps. I am also taking a pair of scissors. You can use a craft knife also to cut this spongy thing into size. So let's go ahead and see how I am making this stamp scrubber. All I am doing is first I am emptying this compass box, and once it is empty I am taking the measurement of the compass box roughly. So this measures around 2 3/4 by 7 inches. So my plan is to cut the spongy pad into the size that fits snugly into the box. So I am making a mark on this spongy pad with a pen to the size that I have measured. Keeping your stamps clean and well conditioned is very necessary to improve their efficacy and also to prolong the life of the clear stamps or rubber stamps you're using. Often I find it very difficult to clean them, especially when I'm using permanent inks like archival inks, etc. So I've always been hunting down to find a easy DIY solution to make these. So today I'm here with a easy and very inexpensive way of how you can do this DIY scrubber and stamp cleaner yourself with absolutely very minimal supplies that you can find lying around your house. As you can see, I have marked with a pen the size that I have measured from the compass box, and I'm cutting down the sponge pad into the size. Make sure you measure your compass box correctly before you cut it down. So as you can see, it's snugly fitting in. I'm just rounding off the corners so that it fits well into the box. Once I'm done doing this, I will make sure that I will stick it up on either side, either temporarily, so that once I feel my sponge has soaked up enough ink and needs a replacement, all I need to do is pull it apart and then take a fresh sponge pad and then place it in my box. Very inexpensive way of making your own stamp scrubber, and it's quite effective as well. I am closing the box and checking so that it closes well. In case if you find any bulge, and you just cut off a little excess on the side so that it snugly fits inside. Here, as you can see, my box is closing well, but when I open it, the pad is falling out. So I'm planning to stick it up with a double-sided adhesive. I'm not using a foam adhesive because I do not have any more room for a foam adhesive in my box. So I'm using a double-sided plain adhesive to fix my sponge. Before doing that, since my sponge is textured differently on either side, I'm just making sure which side I want to stick on. As you can see, one side there's lines and the other side there are kind of bubbles. So I prefer to have the line side on the top so that it's easy for me to clean my stamp. So I'm making sure that side comes up while I'm sticking it up. Now all I'm doing is I'm adding some double-sided adhesive onto my box and then sticking my sponge onto it. Once I feel that my sponge has soaked up enough ink and has become dirty enough that I cannot use it anymore, all I will be doing is ripping it off and replacing it with a fresh sponge. That way you can use the same container again and again to make a fresh scrubber every time. But I'm sure this scrubber will last quite long and is enough to clean my clear stamps every time I use it. As I always say, crafting should be pleasure and fun and not always heavy on your pocket. So if you look around your craft room, you can always replace those expensive store-bought products with some simple DIY products that you can make with things lying around your house. Of course, they are not as effective as the store-bought products, but they will definitely serve the purpose for you and do the job. Also, they will save a lot of money for you, which you can invest on buying other much more needed craft supplies. So here you can see my DIY scrubber is almost ready. All I used is a sponge cleaning pad and an old compass box or a pencil box. Now, as you can see, with a pen I am marking wet on one side of the box and dry on one side of the box. This is just for my information, so that I always spray my stamp cleaner on one side of the pencil box and I keep the other side dry for drying my wet stamps. So here you can see I have taken a spray bottle, clear spray bottle preferably, and I filled it with a little baby shampoo and then water in the ratio of 1:9. So let's go ahead and test our DIY stamp cleaner solution as well. So I am inking up my stamp with some archival ink. I wanted to use some permanent ink so that my stamp cleaner gets tested well. So I'm randomly using this clear stamp and stamping my clear stamp with it using archival ink. As you can see, I've inked up my stamp and my stamp is quite inky right now. So to test this whole DIY that we have done, spraying some stamp cleaner onto the wet side that I have marked, and I'm just gently dabbing the stamp over it. As you can see, all the ink is come out. The sponge is perfectly working as a stamp scrubber, and on the other side I have just dried it up so that I can store my stamp directly in its folder without waiting any longer. As you can see, my stamp block is also quite dirty and inked up, so I'm just spraying some of this stamp cleaner solution onto it and cleaning it up, and it has perfectly cleaned my stamp block as well. I'm really happy that this DIY turned so effective and good to use. Now what I'm doing is I'm taking a piece of paper and writing down the stamp cleaner and the materials I've used in it so that I can tape it onto my bottle. Since the solution is clear, I always have a possibility of mistaking it to a water sprayer. So to avoid that mishap, I'm taping down this label onto my solution bottle, just using some regular clear cellophane tape to tape down this label onto my stamp cleaner bottle. That's it. Our stamp cleaner solution and stamp scrubber is all ready with very minimal and inexpensive basic supplies that were lying around my house. And also it was very effective and useful as well. You can clean your clear stamps, rubber stamps, and also such clear stamping blocks with it. Thank you so much for watching. Please consider subscribing to my channel if you haven't done it yet. And also do follow me on my social media, where I share my craft and card making tutorials and photos with you. The links are given in the description box below. Thank you.